This is going to be tough. What I'm about to tell you, you're not going to believe this. If you thought everything I told you before was revelations, they were nothing compared to what I'm about to tell you. But you, in your lifetime, in your, not lifetime, but timeline, you believe you created this circumstance, this situation, this scenario. You believe this to be a series. In fact, you called it Cloning Albert. Yeah, we know all that stuff. But you believe you created the Cloning Albert series. However, you did not create what is being said here. Even though you believe yourself to be doing this improvisational science fiction series, and every word that I'm saying, you believe it is really you posing as me as the clone. And that you are playing dual roles as an actor, and that everything I'm saying, you actually are creating. Well, yes and no. You did not create, and you are not creating this series. And everything that I'm saying is not coming from you. Now, it is confusing, but let me explain. This has all happened because of the great occurrence. And your collaboration, and you spoke to the Lord God and what have you. By the way, after the great occurrence, a lot of people essentially can speak to the Lord God. And yes, there are wonderful things that happen. And yes, there is a heaven, as I said before. But also, you as the older Albert in the future decided to create this series. So you created it in the future and allowed yourself to telepathically, if you will, or essentially tell you through your mind and connect through your mind of the future into the past so that you could create this series as a vehicle to do a number of things. Which, number one, it was to entertain and educate and inspire all who watched the series. And number two, it was to have you do some more acting and delve into more serious or comical roles, or to increase your viewership here on YouTube. So it was also a way for you, the older version, to essentially tell the people of 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, and so on and so forth, that these things are going to happen, that the great occurrence is going to happen, that scientists are going to catch up with all that you have predicted within the next, again, you won't let me tell you. What I will say is, if you remember when I was here earlier, at one point I said unemployment would go down by 5% in the year 2015. I think I said it was 6.5% in 2015. And then in 2016 it was 5%. And so anyone watching the series would say, well, that's pure science fiction. Unemployment on the nationwide level is 10%, 9.5%, what have you. But if you had been paying attention and had watched the news, you would have learned that actually unemployment is now at 8.5%. And that's not me in this series. That's in real life 2012. Unemployment is down to 8.5%. So what does that mean with relations to this series and how this series is actually reality? Well, that's where I told you today is the change-up. Today, I don't really want to speak to you that much, Albert. I want to speak to your audience. So if you would allow me to do that, that's what I would like to do right now. And yes, I know about your audience because I know about the series. I know how you think this is actually a series that you created. But as I have just explained to you, you did create it, but not until after the Great Occurrence and all that wonderful stuff. And I've also explained to you that we can go through time. So even though you passed in 2067, you can actually be in the future past 2067 because we can travel back and forth in time. And you are also in heaven at some point. And I told you how it gets crazy and complicated, but a lot of this will happen in a relatively short time frame. That's why right now I need to take a little break, gather my thoughts, and when we start speaking again, I'm going to talk to your audience. Now, you actually want me to have you turn to the camera. You know, as an actor, producer, and a talk show host, you're not supposed to break the fourth wall, which is the imaginary wall, because the audience can't really see you unless, actually you can't see the audience, they can see you, but you can't see the audience. You're asking me to allow you to break that industry role and theoretical, not theoretical. It's not theoretical, I know. But the rule of the theater and film and all acting, you're not supposed to break the fourth wall. You're asking me to do that. Alright, fine, but I still don't believe you when you say I'm not the creator of the series. I think you're the phony one. It's all in my mind. It's a science fiction. You're trying to tell me that it is in my mind, but it's in my mind because my future self has put it there, which cloning in real life is impossible. You do not really exist. You do understand that, right?